Hello there. It's me, Hazer. How you doing? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I have, I said the last video I've been asked to do a lot. That wasn't true. This one I actually have been asked to do a lot. A little bit of a mid-season patch notes review. I'll quickly go through the bonus balance, then I'll go through the mid-season patch with the boots removal, talk a little bit about that, talk about the effects I think will happen on the map. I think I find it difficult, honestly, to predict how things are going to change with what's coming through, but I'll give it a go for you, chat. I still call you chat, even though you're YouTube commenters. I don't know. YouTube. Maybe I'll just call you that from now on. Anyway, enough waffle. Let's quickly go through the bonus balance. I'll give a quick talk about what that's going to do, mostly affecting mid and solo. So let's go skip through the skins and stuff. Soul Gem, a little bit of reduction on the scaling. Does matter. Probably won't stop the item being built, but it might be less completely core. Charon's, yeah, it was weird. It was already getting bought when it got buffed before. I think it's still probably going to be bought a lot more than Shroud, personally. Although, with supports skipping tank boots, perhaps they will have dedicated Magpro in place sooner. And so percent pen will be more valuable. I don't know. We'll see. So I don't know. I think even then, early Charon's coin's better than early Shroud, just because of the nature of the item and the stacking it up. Okay, Gaia. It's a fairly significant nerf to the passive, which I like. Gaia is a frustrating item to deal with in solo. I think it will be picked up less with tank boots being gone, because people will need to get pro items. But we shall see. I don't care about Morgan Le Fay purse. I think they did kind of need to change this. I think it was too big and doing too much damage. I guess it's still as big as it was. I don't know if they've decreased the size already, but they probably should. Arthur gets kind of nerfed in a few different ways. Down 20 damage at max rank, so increases by what? Goes up 55 per rank originally, and now it goes up 50 per rank. Yep, that's the one. Still the same at level 1, but just less base damage on Arthur, which is good. Again, less base damage. And a big nerf to Excalibur's Wrath, which is his big ult, which is good. It's good. Even when you beads it, you take too much damage right now, so I haven't seen how it felt, but I imagine this is going to be a good change. Cullen, again, just slightly nerfing his base health in his ult. And imagine the base damage on this. Yep, base damage on this. So top 3 solo laners get hit. Wukong as well as 2 just gets a little bit of a decreased damage. Gilgamesh still doing really well. Gets a slight nerf. Dropkick CD increased. And something to do with a bug. Whatever. 2, 3, 4, and 5 of dropkick. Okay. And then Winds of Shamash. Loses a bit of it initial damage. I think he gets touched in the bonus balance as well, unless I'm mistaken, and he loses the cripple on that in the mid-season patch, not the bonus balance. Sol, they mess with the post-fire because she's been very popular in mid. I think she's still much the same god. I don't think the change, the bug there was apparently a bug in the game where she was able to fire an auto attack as soon as she used her 2, essentially. That's been reverted, but I think she'll still be in the meta. I think people rediscovered that she was a good god and she provides pressure, etc., etc. So I think she will remain in the meta. Janus getting touched again. Top 3 solo laners get touched. Top 3 mages get touched. Janus ult loses a bit of base damage and power scaling. I think he'll still be the same character, to be honest. I think he's still going to be very popular. 100 base damage. Max rank and 5%. 10% scaling, actually, fairly significant. Sorry, I'm going to cough. Apologies for that. Although I did mute, so what am I apologizing for? Whatever. Raijin 1 increased the cooldown. It's very low cooldown. I like that change. Mark decreased the duration to 4 seconds all rank. So now when you miss your 1 and you miss your 3 and you finally hit that auto, maybe now you won't quite get that off and the Raiju will not spread as easily. Don't think it makes much of a difference. This makes a decent difference though. I mean, it's over 10% increase to his cooldown on that ability. If you think about it, all kind of adds up over a game. Okay, bonus balance, done. Who cares? We will see one competitive weekend of Smite on that bonus balance patch is worth noting. I believe that the SPL starts back next weekend. I think the 9th of July, I believe it is. It starts back. Yeah, we'll see one weekend on that patch with Boots still in. Boots' last hurrah. And then we'll move on to the mid-season update. And that's when things get exciting and things become fun. Map stuff, I don't know. I'm going to go quickly through it. I'm reticent to make any predictions about how the map changes and the way it plays, because it's really hard to judge before you play the map and before you see people who are smarter and better than you play the map like the pro players are. So I'm just going to quickly skim through this. So vines are gone. We've got a new side jungle on the outside of duo lane. Wave washed something away, so side jungle is back in duo. We've got 2 alpha harpies, some more farm. I'm pretty sure they give very little farm, these harpies, but I could be wrong. So Scorps are gone, I guess. Solo lane has new XP camp area. Wrecked ship, cool. Back harpy on the red buff side, so on Geo side, I mean, adjusted to make room for a new camp. New objective, Draugr. I don't know how to say that. I apologize. This is the boon that makes your towers and phoenixes receive a stacking buff of 7% increased power and 5% damage mitigation for every allied god within their radius. So if you've got 5 people trying to defend a tower, it's being sieged by 5 other people, or no, 3 is going to be the most. So 15% mit, 21% power on the towers. I actually don't know how towers attacks scale. I guess they have 100% scaling, so maybe this is 21 extra damage per shot, but I'm not sure. Don't actually know what their scaling is. And they spawn in the duo lane side jungle area. So this is neutral on the outside of duo lane. So maybe if the enemy team's getting fire, you'll run over, farm that up, and then it makes it slightly easier for you to defend for 240 seconds, which is 4 minutes. So that's the duration of fire. So when they get fire, you could grab this, and then you can sit on your towers or your phoenixes, and it becomes a little bit harder for them to siege, especially if you're grouped on them. Encourages the defensive team to group up as at least 3, which you would be doing anyway, but maybe encourages the offensive team to split a bit more. We'll see if that has any effect on the way that teams siege. Teams need to get better at sieging regardless, in my opinion. But yeah, that's a whole other video. Health 720, so it's reasonably tanky, and plus 135 health per minute, up to 20 minutes. Actually, yeah, that's going to be pretty tanky. That's going to take a bit of effort to kill, so it might need to be when the enemy team's getting FG. We'll see. 720 plus 135 times 20, which is 1350, 2700, so it's 3420 HP at level 20, if I'm reading that right. You know, it's a few auto attacks from a hunter. Takes a bit. Okay, support buff. It stops, right, so it stops jungle buffs on allied gods expiring. It's really not a big change, I don't think. Might make a slight difference, but I don't know. I think it's not that important. It's interesting though. 50 max health and mana, plus 30 for every additional 50 prots on the wearer. So I mean, maybe you're talking 300 prots on a support at level 20, maybe. 300 of each prots would be 600, so that would be 30 times 12, which is obviously 360 health and mana above the 50. But 300 of each prots is quite a lot anyway. I don't know if we'll see that in the map. Well, maybe we will. Tank bits being gone. But we'll talk about that later. Anyway, Draugr, again, another Draugr guy, another watery boy. Cool. Red, enhanced red got buffed. It's been terrible. It's still probably terrible with an extra 3% lifesteal on it. But Sol makes use of it at least. That's cool. Enhanced speed buff, 5 to 7. Enhanced mana buff, maximum mana bonus from plus 10% to plus 15%. I mean, whatever, man. Bizarre. Okay. Fire Giant gets buffed in terms of HP. I think this is simply because with the removal of boots, damage will scale faster for, well, maybe not faster for the first power spike, but for power spikes after the first one will be a little bit sooner for mages and hunters, so they felt the need to buff it up a little bit, which makes sense. I'm gonna cough again. Went for a COVID test today, funnily enough, but I've had this cough for a bit, and I had several negative COVID tests before, but I got told to go and get one at like an actual place, so woohoo! Maybe I have COVID. Should find out tonight. Gold Primal Only Fury, again, just a little bit of extra procs, a little bit of extra health to deal with the scaling increases. Oracle increased max health from 500 to 600. God, remember when oracles were impossible to do? I swear they had to lower the total health of oracles. They're still a little bit of a pain to do now, but yeah, they're much less scary than they used to be. So I think this will be fine. Make them more of a contested objective, which I like. Lesser Scorpion, yeah, 10 to 12 per tick. I don't care. Don't care. So these are still in lane. Are these still in duo as well? I know they're definitely still in solo. There's one still in solo, but I don't know if they're still in duo. Should probably know that. Anyway, don't care about Joust and Duel. Meditation. I think this sucks. I think this is bad. I'm pretty sure. 8 plus 5% of their missing health each tick for 4 seconds. So we're talking here, I don't know, say you've got 2,500 health. 5% of that is what, 25 to 125, 125 health per second. But that's if you're like at no HP. That's if you're in no HP. So if you're missing 2,500 HP, you'll regain 125 times 5, right? Or 125 times how did I do this maths? Let's don't do maths. I always say this to people: don't do maths on stream. Don't do maths on YouTube either, unless you're a maths person. 2,500, 1% of 2,500 is 25 times 5, 125 times 4 is 500, obviously. So you would heal 500 health here if you were missing 2,500 health. So I don't know. Seems kind of bad to me. Plus 8 4 times. I don't know. What's this 8? What's the 8 thing about? 8? Such an arbitrary number. And the fact that that doesn't scale with levels and only the 5% does just means this 8 to me means nothing. I don't know. A level 1, that's going to be 8 times 4. I can do that math. That's 32. So unless I'm misunderstanding something about meditation, this fucking sucks. This blows. This is bad. It's terrible. I don't understand why you would ever buy this unless you're playing a soul, I guess. Even then, you need people to be on low HP. Doesn't make sense to me. Sunder. It's now 2 shots, although it has been nerfed since this. We will see that down the bottom. I think of these patch notes. I think they moved it to the bottom of these patch notes. So yeah, you double shoot it now. So 2 skill shots for supports, otherwise known as coffins. They'll no longer be buying Sunder now that they have to hit it twice. Hitting it once was tough for them. Hitting it twice might be a step too far. It's interesting though. I kind of like it. Only removing half the shield. I believe the increased damage was not stacking in PTS. It was bugged, and they've reduced that in bonus bounce. So we'll get to that when I get to it. Bracer's gone. Rip Bracer. Bracer of Radiance. I can't even remember if I read this. I definitely have, but I need to read it again. Place a radiant glow at a target location for 90 seconds. Allies who move through this field gain 10% increased power if above half health, or 10% MS if below half health for 8 seconds. Acts as a ward. If destroyed, the cooldown of the relic is reduced by 20 seconds, 100 seconds. Okay, this is cool. I think this is really neat for objective play. You know, you can pull an objective and you've got 10% increased power while you're doing it. And then if they go on you and they get you down, you'll have 10% MS to get out. It's neat. It acts as a ward. I don't understand. Does this mean that you need to sentry it to kill it? Or does it mean you can just alt-wit down in 3 autos? I'm not sure on that one. 10% increase. And this one acts as a sentry ward. Okay. I imagine it just acts as a normal ward though. What's the duration of it? 90 seconds and 100 second cooldown. So you can clear it out. I wonder if there's a clearly shown animation for it, or clearly shown effect on people. But I think this is a cool idea. I think this is a good idea. Shout out to the balance team. Boots are gone. Boots are gone. Elixir of Speed is gone. They do be gone though. We'll talk a little bit more about the impact of that at the end of the video. I think we'll just go through the patch notes first. Reduced the pen on both Mace and Enchanted Spear. This is because mages and assassins and physicals and magicals carries are going to be more likely to build these items early on, and so that pen might allow them to have true damage on the people who they're hitting, etc. And it's going to be people are just going to be hitting you early game with pen a lot more, and not missing the MS that you would have from boots normally if you went for that option. So they've just decided to nerf it to make the early game a little bit less scary, to make the damage for the first few levels of the game, I think, feel more comfortable. This is probably something that's come out of their testing. Both are Enchanted Spear 1400, I think it is, but it could be 1450. Could have forgotten. But now Heavy Mace is down to 1450 to make you able to buy a pot, I guess, plus Heavy Mace as your start if you want to in the jungle. Ichable, they were worried about people just going Ichable first item, I guess, and boxing too well. So they've upped the power but reduced the attack speed reduction. So it was 30% total before from 3 stacks, and now it's 21% total. So fairly sizable nerf, but the power increase probably just about makes up for it. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Mystical Mail, again, these ticks were just going to be too strong, I guess, in the early levels. This will all have come out of testing. You know, they'll have been testing this for a while and seeing what's fun to rush and what makes people struggle in lanes, and that'll be why these have all come through. Wingblades, they should just remove the crowd control reduction off of Wingblade. It shouldn't deal with it should deal with slows. It should be bought for slows. Shouldn't be bought for other CC as well, in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't like the fact that CCR is so accessible on items. But anyway, Wingblade needs a nerf, so this is what they've gone for. I would have removed it altogether because I think having so much going on is silly. Miradin. So this is this new passive. Everything's kind of changed on this in the bonus balance again. Well, not the bonus balance, but the post PTS adjustment. So we'll get to that in a bit. War Flag. It might be an item now. I'm pretty sure it still most likely won't be good, in my opinion. We'll see. I mean, you can get gold. Maybe if you're in a super aggressive lane, and maybe if there's a really snowbally meta, which we can talk about a bit. Maybe it's going to be good. But yeah, you restore 15 health and mana to nearby allies within 55 units, and you gain 8 gold. How long do I don't know if it says how long okay, 8 seconds. And I don't know if it stacks, if it just like refreshes your total stacks every time. I don't know. I don't know enough about War Flag to say anything. The 2% enforcer is just increased MS and attack speed. More health, more mana. Oh, and you restore 1.25% health and 1.25% mana. That's interesting. I wonder if for some tick gods or something this could be good. I don't know. Could be neat. I don't know how that works as well. Each time you damage an enemy, I don't know if that means, like, for a dot, it hits you 8 times. Does it hit 8 times? I don't know enough about things. Corrupted Bluestone. Decrease the power, has health on it. Stacking benefit for applying corruption. Attack speed provided by stack was removed, reduced, and stacks now provide 4% increased protections. How many times does stack? 3, I guess? I don't know. 12% protection is kind of cool. It's interesting. Wonder if that'll be any good. Off the bat, my thoughts are possibly not good. That's my thoughts off the bat. But again, I don't know. I struggle to visualize what that change means when I can't see the original item as well. Death's Toll. This is cool. Might mean we see some more Death's Toll in solo lane. I would like that. Osiris Death's Toll, Bologna Death's Toll maybe. I mean, not in my ranked games, please. But that could be cool. We shall see. If it happens for like Osiris and stuff. Osiris has a lot of good options right now. Cool. He seems to be getting up towards the top, and he didn't get touched in these patches, whereas Wukong, Arthur, and who am I missing? Cullen did. So, and Death's Embrace, same change. And at the same time, Auto Attack Warriors got another buff kind of, so and junglers also. Berserker Shield is better now, and it's also going to be a pretty good, I think this might be a good early power spike. We'll see. But now it can only be built by assassins and warriors to stop hunters, ruining it for the auto attack assassins and warriors, and they increase the prots and they increase the attack speed. So we'll see. It was pretty much a dead item before, with Glad Shield and Void Shield being built over every single time. So hopefully this makes a difference. Shoguns, they removed CCR. Woohoo! They took CCR off something. 150 health on it. Increased the attack speed aura from 25% to 30%. This item was extremely overshadowed by Talisman of Energy. This might make the difference to make it in the game. Yeah, I'll come through in a bit. Guess my food's ready. Damn it, I've not timed this very well, have I? Serrated Edge. Don't know why this is getting buffed. Doesn't make any sense to me. Item was already good. It's in a good spot. Yeah, we'll see. Mannequin Scepter. I think this is a fairly significant buff, actually. The buff for mannequins. Down to 3 stacks rather than 4. Now it's 16 plus 5% of your physical and magical power rather than 12 flat. So 16 times 3 is the same as 12 times 4, right? 16, 32, 48, 12, 24, 40. Yep, correct. Well done. Well done. I'm doing too much maths today. It's also too hot in here. God damn. I had to shut my curtains because you get glare from behind me if I don't. 3%. So this scales rather than being flat. I think mannequins is going to be in a much better spot. I think it's a much better item now. But we'll see. We'll see. I could be wrong. Again, it's one of those, I'm not good at just looking at numbers and saying those numbers are OP. Sometimes you can with like a newly released god. But not with this. Sentinels. Decrease the cost. Increase the protections. It needed this. It might be able to compete with Benevolence now. Benevolence isn't currently in the game, so... but I'm sure it will be back in for mid-season. Conjure at 100 mana. Still think it's pretty outclassed by Hourglass, but we shall see. Is it called Hourglass? Whatever it's called, you know the other one. Vamp Shroud. This is interesting. I think these two together are a pretty big buff to magical solo laners, the Guardian solo laners, which I think would be an interesting meta. Bloodsoaked Shroud, this is, from what I understand, basically a magical gladiator shield, kinda. And just increasing the prots and increasing the health on Vamp Shroud makes magical solo laners have a more easy time dominating a physical lane. It's also going to be better into most junglers because a lot of people play physical junglers. So I think this is a nice move for solo lane Guardians. We'll see if it works out. Yeah, again, you can just read the stats here. More prots once more. Warrior's Axe. Another little buff for Warrior's Axe. I think it's already pretty good. I think it's in a good spot and will be picked up in the next patch. Atalanta's. Is this item still terrible? I'm pretty sure this item's probably still bad, but who knows? It's hard to tell. I need to read the full stats of the item. Can't remember if they buffed the pen back up to 20%. I feel like they didn't, but could be wrong. Cowl has a bit of MP5 on it. Might mean it's picked up. We shall see. Because the upgrade's not bad, I suppose. It's just late to get your decent lifesteal online, I suppose. Sigil buffed. We don't want Sigil meta in solo. We don't want Tainted Steel meta in solo either. Ooh, you're now healed for 100% of the healing reduced, so maybe this will discourage some solo lanes picking healers. Serb was picking up Tainted Steel before. I think Cullen sometimes picked up Warding Sigil when he didn't go Bluestone or Axe or Fighter's Mask, so I might see these items picked up. I think it's fairly likely we'll see a bit more variety in solo lane. Not the player, but the the absence of everything being the same. Increase the healing reduction on the upgraded one. Increase power on this one. This is cool change. A little bit more health on Jade Emperors. This could have a knock-on effect of people picking up the tier 1 at level 1 if it's in a good spot once you finish the item. Talk about that a little bit more in a bit. Tyrannical Helm. Alright, let's speed through these changes for gods because I don't think there's anything too important. I'm pretty sure Amma is still bad. Artemis. in an okay spot, actually. I actually think she's in an okay spot. This decreased cooldown is neat. I think if the meta shifts a little bit, I think Artemis could be good. Maybe someone will pick her in the SPL. I could see one of the hunters grabbing her. Baba Yaga. I don't know if she's going to feel better, but increased shield health scaling from 15% to 25%. I think this is fairly decent. People are going to be flying from that knockback. I think Baba's in an okay spot. Somebody will play her at some point. Probably hurry. Baron buffs. Maybe he could be played in solo with some of the changes coming through. Already Final K seemed to like the matchup into Osiris. He liked the matchup, and he was playing it in solo. So it'd be cool to see a bit more of that. Decreased the cooldown on the 2, added some hysteria on the autos and the 1. Yeah, Daji buff. Not sure that Daji should be getting buffed still. I think she's pretty good. I don't know. Sometimes I think, I mean, it must be stats that are driving it, but sometimes I don't understand why gods get a few buffs in a row when they're already looking to be viable. But we'll see. Maybe Daji will come back in more. I think she's viable already. Hachiman, 4 shots per all the time. 4 shots. I mean, just give him a passive, man. Just give Hachiman a passive. I think that's what they should do instead of this stuff. But maybe it'll bring him back in alongside the other hunters. He is a bit weak right now ever since his ult got the Ram ult treatment. Hades. This is kind of cool, this change. But I don't know if it'll matter. War Cannon, a little bit more base damage early on in the game, scales to the same amount. Hell, a little bit more scaling, decreased mana cost, blah, blah, blah. Argus. I didn't know that Argus's abilities scaled to different... Argus's hits scaled to different amounts before. That seems complicated, but I guess the third one's like a big smash, right? So it makes sense. It does a bit more damage. I'm going to cough again. God, I've been recording for 27 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry this video is so long. Okay, don't care. Mulan sucks. Odin, I think Odin's probably pretty good. Honestly, I think he might be okay. I'm a little bit worried. Chat. 1 second down on both these abilities and a little bit more scaling on that. That doesn't really matter. But I think Odin could... He's one of these gods that randomly appears in the meta and you're like, oh no. I think Oleron probably still sucks, but this is cool. He's no longer going to get CC'd forever if he gets CC'd in his own ult. Rat keeps some MS on his acorns, so he's going to have 6% more MS than everybody else who's building pen items or whatever, as long as they're not building like Katana Tree. But Rat's going to be moving pretty quick. I think Rat could be strong in the next map, but I'm really not sure. I guess there is still a trade-off there, but he's going to be 6% MS. Typhoon while dead, Crushing Earth while dead. This is actually... I think this is decent buffs for Thor. I'd like to see more Thor. Making his passive a little bit better. That's auto attack range if you didn't know. 55 units is auto attack range. Scaling up to 10%. Toth, 5% more scaling on his 3, blah, blah, blah. Serpents can't split push as well anymore. Freya, less mana. Nox kills minions more. Yamuja doesn't have to build obscene amounts of CDR and mana at CDR. Yeah, CDR, mana, MP5, whatever, to get more Omi. She'd be bouncing 10% more cooldown on River's Rebuke. Post PTS balance. Miradin got magical power reduced again. I think it was 110 before this. Now it went to 95, went to 85. Then it's 70% uncapped CDR and for 4 seconds before. So you can see they clearly felt this was very, very strong before. I think everybody felt it was pretty strong. But yeah, it's going to be neat. I'm interested to see how Miradin works in the meta. If it's viable, if it's strong, if it's a super scary power spike, how different gods utilize it. I'm interested by the time. I think it's a nice shift. We'll see. I think it makes it much more accessible. Sundering Spear, they increased the cooldown to 110 for each of the 2 shots. And they decreased the stacking damage increase from 7% to 5%. I thought it was 10%. Oh, whatever. Maybe it's 10% on the upgrade. I don't know. So it's only 5% twice now for 10%, I guess. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah, so it's 7% I don't know. Something. Trans. Obviously, people were building this earlier in the game because power spike is nice because it's stacking item, because it's good tier 2 to start at the start of the game. So they increased the total cost of it. It was overbought in ADC as well. Meta there was getting a little bit stale. No, we have had Devos meta forever. Stone cutting, again, this was just a little bit strong for the early game. If you were auto trading with somebody, or if you were able to get on them, the protection debuff and the protection buff for you in the early game was really, really strong, because people wouldn't have percent pen or even flat pen to get through it yet. So they nerfed that, but decreased the price a bit. Seems like a good change. Don't care. 3% per level. Yeah? Yeah, yeah, and then they reduced they removed the cripple on Winds of Shamash. Okay. Now, let's talk boots removal. Let's talk boots removal for a little bit, and what we feel it will do to the meta. Let's go through. Let's talk a little bit. So boots removal, mages and hunters, in my opinion, probably hunters then mages, but hunters and mages scale the best in the game on they're the best classes in the game that scale with items. Getting their proc items online, getting crit online, getting pen online, those kind of things. The scaling for hunters and mages, I think, is the best, and I think this patch makes hunters and mages stronger. I think supports are going to have to learn a little bit of a new play style. With tank boots being gone, I think they'll have very different power spikes, and they'll have I think they'll have one. I think likely we'll see them build into one form of protections early on, and we'll see how they get on with that. Because tank boots, obviously, they made you very tanky instantly to both magical and physical. Now tank boots aren't there. You can choose Thebes, so that's going to be a bit slower. You could choose Sov, but then you might be a bit weaker to magical damage. It does have health on it. You could choose to go down some other route with like a winged blade into a Fizz Prime. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. Either way, maybe we'll see people sitting with like a tier 2 Fizz Prot, like a breastplate 2, silver breastplate, and then we'll see them get silver talisman, and then they'll finish one or the other off. I don't know. But that's going to be an interesting problem for supports to solve, how they build in different games. I wonder if comps with 4 physical might fall a little bit out of the meta. 4 physical, fairly popular with a mage who does decent enough damage, something like a Merlin or a Raijin, someone who does damage the whole game, and you can't really not build prots into. I wonder if we'll see those comps fall off just because the Fizz prot will be online earlier, and double Fizz in duo lane might be a problem if the other support could start, say, a tier 2 helmet or a tier 2. I mean, you could go steel mail. It's 1400 gold though, a little bit expensive, but I don't know. Another thing is that levels just became more valuable. XP leads were already more valuable, but your levels are now more valuable because you get MS with them. There's a possibility that could lead to a bit of a snowball meta where people are trying to invade and keep people down and just maybe starve 1 or 2 opposition players of a lot of farm. Then you have not only the increased damage on your abilities and the increased health scaling and increased power scaling, blah, 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 blah. And more items. You also have movement speed on them. There was the full boot spike before, which was a significant spike, but it was hard to abuse that in Smite, in my opinion. I mean, you saw dual lanes, for example, going full Devils, full Trans. Both ADCs would go stacking item before grabbing boots. So the boots power spikes was obviously difficult to abuse before, maybe just because if you went like a stacking item first, I don't know, you would you would end up stronger in a fight. If you went Trans anyway. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think there's a lot of anti-snowball in Smite, which might prevent this kind of kicking off a snowball meta. I think there's already a lot in the game to prevent snowball being powerful. You know, like reduced XP and gold on enemy camps, things like that. That's mostly it, really. And comeback mechanics like shutdowns and things like that, but we'll see. I think teams are going to have to balance their comps more. I think we'll see a lot of varying builds to start off with, which will be interesting. I think different, like in the jungle, for example, you'll see different starting builds, in solo as well. I think we'll see more gods in solo with the nerfs coming through. I think solo probably has the biggest changes with Arthur and Cullen and Wukong just not being the defaults thing. We'll probably see a lot of Osiris. I don't think Cullen and Arthur are dead, but I do think they've received a well-deserved kicking, which they've kind of earned over the last little while, I'd say. So I'm happy about it. I think mid as well, switching up the meta picks there is going to be good. Merlin already seemed to be coming back into top form, into being a very strong selection, so I'm expecting to see quite a lot of him again, which is always fun. Merlin's a fun god to watch, even if I don't play him. Yeah, support's gonna need to figure out how to build in each different game and how to play the map, which will be interesting. I wonder if we'll see supports stay away from mids and rush some fizz prot, or and like camp duo side, or go over to solo, or they'll get early mag prot if there's two magicals in the core and they'll go towards mid, and they'll throw their weight around there. I think that'll be interesting. I think supports are going to have to think about the way they want to play the map and the way they want to build, and reconcile those two together, rather than just say, I'm going to build tank bits, then I'm going to build Thebes, and I'm going to bounce between duo and mid as necessary. I think there might be a bit more of a switch up there. Is there much else to talk about? I don't know. I think that's it. I think that's what I got for you. I hope this wasn't too rambly. I hope there's a little bit of stuff that makes sense in there at least. I'll do power rankings this weekend also. I'm going to try and write some Jamillionaire questions, do power rankings Saturday for the SPL, do Jamillionaire on Sunday. That's my plan right now. But best made plans of mice and men. That's what they say. I don't know how that idiom ends, to be honest. Is that the end of is that the whole idiom? I have read the book of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. I think it's by John Steinbeck. Anyway, talking myself in circles here. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you were happy with this video once it finally arrived. I know people have been clamoring for it a little bit, so here it is. I'll hopefully catch you this weekend. Enjoy your weekend off of the SPL. If you're just chilling, maybe go outside, get some fresh air, go for a nice walk, and I'll hopefully be doing the same at least some of this weekend. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time. Bye.